Number 15. 3, 2, 1. Wonder Woman 84.
Justice League.
Why is it Justice League for you?
Because I know for a fact I am never watching that movie ever again. Ever. There's never going to be a reason why I would ever click that title.
Huh. Well,
even though we have,
especially since Snyder's has his version.
That's why that's at number 15 for me.
Damn, that is crazy.
And then we got stuff like the whole Wonder Woman and Flash scene and brunch. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Well, okay, look, for me it got to be Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84 was god awful. There was a moment where she got the eagle suit and she's sitting in the wall and like the wall is bending and she like tries to save the world by yapping. Cheetah's done poorly. The entire pacing of the story was just horrible. She was losing her powers and we're just like, bro, this is Wonder Woman. This is not, like, she shouldn't be hung up over a dude for this long. Throughout the entire film, for multiple films, she's caught up over one dude.
Even in Justice League, they made it a point that she was still caught up.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, for that reason, bro, I say it's Wonder Woman 84 for me. It was not a good movie. The way we did this, we're not including Blue Beetle and we're not including TV shows, which means Peacemaker, and we're not including the Matt Reeves Batman. It's just strictly DCEU Snyderverse stuff, all right? Out of those films, number 14, 1, 2, 3, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so it was pretty low on your list. Why is it at 14 and not 15?
Every reason you just gave.
Okay, I put Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom now.
But I still think Justice League outweighs it.
Wait, what?
I still think Justice League is worse.
That's crazy.
Because I know for a fact, like I said, I'm never watching that again. I would still try to rewatch Wonder Woman 84 just because I didn't get to finish it the first time.
Oh, so you didn't even, yeah. No, I mean, it is what Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I guess just because we just finished, I literally just finished watching it, and I just couldn't find any real positives to it. Like, for me, it was just
Panther,
like,
come on, Black Manta.
Look, bro, for me, everything else on the list at least made me feel something. The only good scene, and I'll say good with quotations, is that one track scene where, Black Manta and him are fighting. But like the movie just moved like this the whole time.
Now, do you think it would have a different rating if it wasn't the final DCEU film? If that wasn't our closer for the universe?
I think it would be a different rating. But I got to take all of that in context because that's how they ended it. So, and mind you, we got some pretty bad DCEU films. I mean, it's so funny because I hate saying that because outside of the bottom two, or the bottom one, which is 84, I actually enjoyed a lot of the other ones.
For me, it's 5. It's my bottom 5.
Bottom 5 that you just can't stand? So going forward, like the entire list, I can't say I'll rewatch them.
But there's something about the films that's at least not garbage.
Decent, yeah. Like there's things in there, So number 13, 3, 2, 1, Shazam Birds of Prey. 2. What? What?
Hey, listen, how you feel about Aquaman 2 is how I feel about Shazam 2.
What?
Garbage.
Shazam 2?
Garbage.
There was nothing wrong with Shazam 2.
There was nothing good about Shazam 2.
That's
what you meant to say.
What type of list is this?
There was nothing good about Shazam 2.
You put Birds of Prey above Shazam 2?
Listen, my favorite scene from Shazam 2 was Billy. That's my favorite scene from the movie, bro.
Bro, there was nothing wrong with Shazam 2.
There was nothing good about Shazam 2.
Oh my goodness. And you know what's worse? I can't even argue.
My nigga.
Because I don't know what to say. Like,
I can't
it's
even
just
be like,
Shazam.
I can't even be like, Shazam had good fight scenes.
It was cool.
Why does Shazam not have a decent fight scene? What was your favorite fight scene in Shazam 2? Okay, on to the next one. Thank you.
But Birds of Prey? You enjoyed Birds of Prey more than Shazam 2?
I didn't say that. I said my bottom 5. Hold on, we still got a whole list to go through.
But your bottom 5, but we're at 13.
Yes, I would say 13, I enjoyed Shazam, Birds of Prey more than Shazam 2.
That's crazy. Look, so here's where, so this is where I'm talking about with my list.
At least Birds of Prey had a decent fucking fight scene.
So here's where I'm talking about with Birds of Prey, right? I was able to sit through Birds of Prey. For me, going forward, there's nothing really crazy wrong about these movies. I enjoyed Birds of Prey. I liked Obi-Wan's role. He did a really good job. Obi-Wan was Black
Black
Mask.
Mask, yeah.
I liked Huntress. I know a lot of people didn't have an issue with it.
My fault. My bro looks so young in that movie. Am I tripping?
It's because he always rocking the Jesus beard.
He looked bad young in that movie.
Because he shaved it, you feel me? And he got the white on, and he a little bit more suave.
You sure that was?
I'm positive that was him. Ewan McGregor.
Evan McGregor?
Evan McGregor, yeah. That's Obi-Wan. Yeah. Number 12. Ready? I want to see if we agree on something.
I doubt we're gonna agree on something.
All right, let's see.
3, 2, 1.
Suicide Squad. What the fuck?
Aquaman 2.
How are we not agreeing on nothing?
Do I have to? Can I get Aquaman in
I
there?
feel, yeah,
If I
sure,
would've
but
waited,
I want us to have something.
Nah, probably when we get higher, maybe.
All right, most likely.
Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2.
Like he was saying, nothing redeeming about the movie, except for that one scene.
Yeah.
Still better than the past ones I just named. I can say that much.
I don't know about that. Suicide Squad, I remember, for me it's this low because I remember the excitement that I had for Suicide Squad going into it. And I remember the first time we seen the trailer. I remember all of that. And it was just so dope.
Coughs and studio intervention.
And that becomes the issue. It's like, okay, you guys got a cool trailer. That doesn't mean hire the studio that made the trailer to make your movie. And David Ayer is still fighting to get that cut out. You remember?
Yo, nigga want his movie
Bro,
back.
like you remember seeing this Joker slapped Harley Quinn, and it was so much stuff in the behind the scenes. And it just felt like Enchantress shouldn't have been the main villain. Like, what were they smoking? Having these guys that pretty much have street level powers, if we're gonna be honest. It's not like Omega level X-Men powers. Why would you have them fight someone like Enchantress?
No, that's not my issue, because the Suicide Squad goes against people who's stronger than them all the time.
Nah, I don't like it.
That wasn't my issue.
What was your issue?
Especially
as an introduction, huh?
The writing.
The writing. But I mean, is it the writing or the editing? And when I say the editing, I mean the way they moved it around, not the specific
I was about to say,
edits.
if I'm being honest, bro, it's everything.
Really?
It would have been everything.
Bro, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this. I think we could have had one of the best Jokers if they gave him time. If they actually let him actually have scenes, because he was so different from the other ones. I know people have issues with Jared Leto. I
wouldn't say weird, the best Joker, but he wouldn't be getting as much shit as he's getting now. Yeah, and I think it's also cool to just hate on him just because it's Jared Leto. That's what I think it mainly is. Because it's weird because bro he's not in the movie long enough for me to genuinely hate him as much as everybody else. But I saw what he was trying to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I can't picture. I could picture a scaled up Heath Ledger fighting Ben Affleck. But I could see why Ben Affleck would be out here killing people if the Joker is like that. I don't know how to explain it. I could see Jared Leto going up against Affleck and feeling more like a Joker versus Batman than Heath Ledger going up against Affleck and feeling like a Joker versus Batman. Okay. Affleck punches Leto, niggas gonna laugh in his face. Yeah. He's gonna be like, that's it? Yeah, Affleck punches Ledger, he's gonna be like, who hurt you? Right. Trying to spit some philosophical, it's all about balance and you gotta choose. And it's like, nah, bro, give me a maniacal. I need a Rasta Joker, bro. Just like the one from the Batman animated. I need a Rasta Joker with the bloodshot red eyes. With no shoes. Bro, that's yo, he was always the scariest Joker to me. I know Mark Hamill and all that, but he was the scariest one. Yeah, he was black. He was? He was black. Oh, shoot. The voice actor? Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Number 11 on the list. 3, 2, 1. Justice League. I respect it. Just a boring movie, bro. I'm sorry. It wasn't boring. I never understood what Adler loved about this movie so much. I only watched the movie because Adler said he enjoyed it. Yeah. Boring. It's Margot Robbie. Not a single good character. Journey Smollett. Margot Robbie is probably the only interesting person. They managed to ruin Huntress? No, not Huntress. Zaz? No, not Zaz. I can't even remember the character's name. Male or female character? Female. Cassie. Damn, I forgot she was in the movie. What's her name again? The Batman. Yeah. What's her name? Batgirl. Damn, I forgot her. Cassandra Cain? Cassandra Cain. Yeah. Ruined her. I didn't even know that was supposed to be her. Yeah. Oh, damn. Maybe I should reconsider. I didn't even know that was her. There was no point even putting her in the movie. It was just a big disappointment.
Damn. You ain't like the hyenas? She called them Bruce. That was a cool movie. I mean, for me, I got to put Justice League, I'll say that high up. Where is that? I said number 11. It's only number 11 because as much as people don't like that movie, I can't even say at its core because it's a completely different movie from what Zack Snyder made. But like, I could see Zack Snyder's influence in it, and those are still the good parts for me. So I still have to put it higher up because Zack Snyder is still there.
It's the fact that nobody liked the movie. Snyder fans didn't like the movie, and quote-unquote DC fans didn't like the movie. Like
the Marvel fans liked it. The Marvel fans liked it because that's what they were going for. But then again, it's Joss Whedon, and he got exiled from Marvel for being terrible. He was horrible to the cast, too. Absolutely horrible. Nobody liked him on set. But for that scene, like for that, I think one of the reasons why I have to use it is because one of my favorite scenes is when Superman comes back to life. Yes, he looks crazy, but he goes, "You won't let me live, you won't let me die." I love that line. That is a Zack Snyder-ass line, but for whatever reason, he doesn't put that in his version of the film. But then immediately that tension gets lost because he's like, "I'm gonna feel that in the morning." And it's just like, all right, bro. But like, I remember leaving the theater, I think it's like 2017, right? That we got that movie. And I remember, first off, I saw that movie late. Like, I didn't go early release. Like, you know, normally we watch like an early release or whatever. I remember watching it late, but at the end I was just like, it's just a Saturday morning cartoon. But that's not how you're supposed to feel when you watch a Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Justice League. Number 10, this is where it starts getting good. Number 10, 3, 2, 1, The Flash. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. I knew he was going to have something.
No, for me, what really saved this movie was the whole dynamic between him and his mother.
Yes.
That's about it, though.
No, I feel you. No, I feel you. But I mean, but that's true. Like, that was one of the reasons why I say, like, in our Aquaman review, I was like, bro, like, I prefer The Flash because it also makes me think about, like what I keep saying, it makes me think about when we were younger. It tackles the concept of youth, loss. I think it didn't do the Flashpoint well, but it did the emotion behind it decent enough where I could feel it. And it just goes like, Ezra Miller is such a good actor. It's just unfortunate that Ezra Miller is Ezra Miller. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I feel like the movie, look, let's be real here. Again, I'm still excited for the James Gunn stuff. I do think sabotage was at play here. There was a movie there, and you just had so much time for the visual effects. Like, this is The Flash. Like, this should have been a really good movie, and it just wasn't. This arguably should have been top 5.
I agree.
Especially if you're adapting Flashpoint. That's like, come on, bro. How do you mess up Flashpoint when everything's baked in? They could have had Michael Keaton as Thomas Wayne. I think people would have enjoyed it more if he was Thomas Wayne. Like, the normie character, like I said, the normie crowd would have been like, who's this? What's going on? But like, for us, we would have been like, oh, shoot. Seeing Ben Affleck, if Ben Affleck teared a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean to talk about the potential of it, but that is why it's at top 10. There's only 15 movies, but top 10 is meaning something.
And I also think if they would have got rid of the whole world, could have also got a...
Well, here comes the sabotage thing at play too, right? But I do think conspiracy time, James Gunn was behind it all. He intentionally told people, oh, this is one of the best movies ever.
One of the best superhero movies I've ever seen.
Just to get our hopes up so that when we watch
that
it.
Was fucked up.
So that when we're watching, we disappointed. Hiring Tom Cruise. Yo, that was a crazy marketing plan. Like, I don't know what they was on. Stephen King. Are they crazy? Are they crazy? Yeah, that was awful, man. That was awful. But the reason why he did it is so that when these films flop, he could go ahead and be like, all right, now here's my Superman. Look at how good this is.
I was thinking that, like, look how good my universe is. And
it's like, bro, you guys intentionally fucked this up. I'm still excited for it.
Facts.
I'm a DC fan, so I'm just gonna love DC, but like, number 9, 3, 2, 1,
Shazam
Aquaman.
1.
Oh, I'm not mad at that.
Shazam 1. There were things I enjoyed about Shazam 1. Obviously, I have my cons, but I think one of my favorite parts might have been like Dr. Sivana and obviously the relationship between him and his family.
That was really hurtful. We saw that movie together.
We did?
Yeah. It was a good.
And I thought it was funny. I thought it was funnier.
Yeah, I remember you enjoying that movie a lot, bro.
I thought it was funnier than
2.
Yeah, definitely.
I really liked Shazam 1. Shazam 1 was really up there for me. But for me, this one has to be Aquaman because Aquaman is one of those movies where I don't know why it was as successful as it was. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know why it was as successful as it was. The world building was dope. You could tell James Wan had fun with like the Kraken scene and the
trench.
Yeah, the trench. But I do feel like tonally it was all over the place a little bit. But it was Aquaman. Again, Saturday morning cartoon. But this one was like cooler Saturday morning cartoon. Like it's as Aquaman as you could get. Like what can you really do with Aquaman? He's royalty. You know what I'm saying? And he has to figure that out. So it was natural that it was going to feel like Black Panther meets Thor. That's the way I saw it. So Black Panther meets Thor underwater. It's one of those movies. So, all right. So my number 8, 3, 2, 1. Shazam
Aquaman
2.
1.
That's funny. Okay, it's pretty close. I enjoyed Shazam 2 way more than Aquaman 1. Shazam 2 was a genuinely good time. We got a Jersey girl in the movie, so we got to give her respect. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to show love. I know a lot of people not rocking with her right now. She's going through a little bit of a rebrand. I still think she looks absolutely gorgeous. Yo, Rachel, we ever cross paths or whatever. I think you are gorgeous. What should I say? I'm trying to shoot my shot.
Nah, we don't care. Hey, listen, man. The reason I picked Aquaman, is because to me, Aquaman, till this day, is one of the only films that genuinely looks like a comic book. Like the whole scene with them underwater during the war. I'm like, yo, this looks crazy.
That is true.
It's the only film that genuinely looks like a comic book. Like it's the page on screen.
So he took time to build that world. Which Justice League movie was that when Aquaman and Wonder Woman linked up and they like took over Atlantis and Themyscira together? Which one was that?
Flashpoint.
That was Flashpoint. That's kind of like that vibe that it gave me.
Then they caught cheating. They broke up, started beefing.
They started fighting each other. Yeah. That's I did like the world building of Aquaman. I thought it was cool. I think that's probably some of the best world building that the DCEU has had.
Yeah.
But that's also because that's really the only opportunity that they had. Because we would have had different world building if we went out into space and had Green Lantern. What other places? I think that's one thing about the DCEU we never got the chance to do. We never got the chance to look at other worlds.
We saw Themyscira a lot more than anything else. Because we saw it in Wonder Woman 1, we saw it
But you know what it is though? It don't feel
as
the way
fleshed out.
Aquaman did. Like Themyscira was still like, oh, that's just Earth, but somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's just women. It's just cool, but we get it already. It's not often that we get to see the underwater Atlantis to the point where it's like even Black Panther tried it with Namor. And they tried to differentiate it in different ways, like, oh, this is our son and da-da-da. Like, but it's still not, I don't know. It's something about underwater. There's just so much mystery there. And I just think Juan did a really good job with that. But
this one was hard for me. I'm going to be honest.
It started getting real difficult
This
here.
one was hard. This one...
So look,
the more I look at it, the more I feel like it should be in a different spot. Like,
we probably got the same one though.
Nah.
I guarantee you we do. How much you want to bet we got the same one?
$5.
$5?
$10.
$5, bro. Because we've been messing up. All right, cool. This is number 7.
You gonna shake my hand on camera, nigga.
All right, number 7. $5, we're shaking it. Yeah, we got the same movie. All right, 3, 2, 1. Black
Suicide
Adam.
Squad. Yeah, I never did the OG Suicide Squad.
What the fuck? You got that as your number 7?
You see why I said I feel like it should be in a different spot? But I could rewatch Suicide Squad, bro.
Your number, not the way they got it.
What you mean?
I could watch scenes. I can't rewatch the whole thing.
I could I could do that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I could
Like,
watch scenes, but I'm not gonna watch
I'm not watching the whole thing because then it just pissed me off. There's some really good scenes in that. Damn, I'm
listen,
the 5,
listen. The
man.
thing about me, bro, is I thoroughly enjoy Act 1.
From what I remember, oh yeah, that was like getting the team together.
Yeah,
Will
you
Smith
meeting
and-
everybody. Will Smith, the Joker, and Harley
Yeah.
Quinn in the club.
That was hard. That was hard.
Common.
Yeah, Common. That was hard.
My boy Batman pulling up on the back of the Lamborghini. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Oh shit, Act 1 wasn't that bad. It just starts going downhill.
Yeah, once it gets to like the mid of Act 2, it just all turns to shit. Mo, my favorite scene from the movie, bro, is literally when we first get introduced to Enchantress. I love that scene. She like pull up. She walks up. She says,
and then
the flip. I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
That is hard, but the whole movie?
That scene alone is better than anything I named in the list before. I don't care.
But Enchantress as the main villain is crazy, bro. Especially for this lineup of the Suicide Squad. I just think that's a little bit of a stretch. Now, if you fight in the Joker, it shows how devious he is, that he's actually a threat for Batman. He has like a whole army, and like I think that's a little bit more relatable. I said relatable. That's a little bit more believable. I didn't mean relatable. Believable. And then, you know, you got the whole Harley Quinn aspect of it where it's like, is she going to stick with the team or is she going to stick with the boyfriend that assaults her? Yeah, I think there's like words we're not allowed to say, so.
We can't say assault?
I think we can say assault. We can't say...
DV. Let's just say DV.
All right, I got to give you a 5. I'm an Apple, what's going to call you by the end of the episode.
That was number 5?
No, that was number 7.
Oh.
I said I got to give you your 5.
Oh, okay.
Black Adam is number 7 for me because I think out of the most recent DC films, that's the most fun that I had, especially since it was like, I went in and I'm like, I'm not expecting a crazy good story. You could tell there was fan service there. He literally did this just to have fun. Like for us, the fights were fun. It was Black Adam. I think his ego did show, like The Rock as an actor, his ego did show. Because he never actually loses a fight. I wish I probably just saw some of that, like actually him going through a real arc. But the mom was hot. The characters were dope. I liked seeing the Justice Society. It was just a fun film. I saw the movie, for whatever reason, I saw the movie like 4 times in theaters, bro. Like, I just kept going back to watch it, just because it was a good time. It was basic.
It brought
back. It was mid.
It brought back.
It was mid, but like in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It brought back what?
I was about to say, it brought back that feeling you wanted.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, there's hope. Like, if we could get this, then the next one could give us some, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, you could tell they embraced Snyder with the action. You know, I had a really good time with Black Adam, bro. I just don't like the fact that, again, I just don't like when movies make me feel like I'm being used. Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt. I felt like the whole Cavill thing was using us to go watch the movie, even though, like, there's an element of I do want Cavill there.
And you know what's crazy? Mm-hmm. The Rock wanted Cavill.
I know you always argue with me about that.
He
but
wanted Cavill. Warner Brothers used The Rock as an scapegoat. It was them.
Yeah, they did do that. They did do that.
Everybody was attacking The Rock. It wasn't The Rock. The Rock wanted Seville. The Rock wanted Superman versus Black Adam. We all did. We're not going to sit here and act like we didn't.
But my issue,
we all did.
The problem becomes that Black Adam should have been fighting Shazam first, bro. Like, it's the,
No, he should have fought Shazam and Superman, like in the animated shit.
Well, sure, but like that is literally Shazam's main villain, though. Mm-hmm. We could have eventually led up to that, where he's just like, yo, I can't do this alone, da-da-da-da-da. That's the type of dynamic that we should have gotten. Instead, we just skipped. We just went straight forward for the rest. And I think that becomes the biggest issue. And that's why it is number 7 for me. I think.
And at the same time,
it's
nobody
easy
wants
to blame
to
The
see
Rock.
fucking Zachary Levi fight Shazam, bro. I mean, fight Black Adam. Nobody wants to see that.
Was it you that said it should have been John Cena as Captain Marvel?
Yes.
As Shazam?
I don't think that was me, but I agree. That would have been 100% better than whatever the fuck Zachary Levi thought he was doing.
And I think it would have been funny, too, because I think they beef in real life. John Cena and The Rock.
I mean, they're cool, but they beef. It's all like a show, though.
Okay. But I think it's easy to blame
so
The Rock,
better,
though.
bro.
It's just, we just hear so much stories about his ego and stuff, and it's like, you see stuff like that where he's just like, bro, I'm not trying to be a part of Shazam, which, okay, you might agree with him.
I do. That would have been a waste.
But
that would have been so bad.
Now
Imagine we did get Black Adam in one of the Shazam movies. Look how all those turned out. Fucking garbage.
But look. I'm glad that he didn't take over the DCU because he would have just made the focus Black Adam. That becomes the thing.
I don't think his goal was to ever take over the DCU.
That was his goal, bro.
His goal was to push it forward.
His goal was to take over that shit and become the main. He was trying to be Brainiac. That's what he wanted to do. And he don't know how to, like, the thing about The Rock, he don't know how to play supporting. Ready for the top 6? I know you're 6. I'm going to say you're 6 with you, and then I'm gonna say my
No,
6.
you're gonna say yes 6.
Nah, I know what you're gonna say for 6. So I'm gonna prove it. 3, 2, 1.
Black Adam.
Oh shit.
Yeah, come on, do your thing, bro. Stop like.
You right. You got it.
Cause don't know me.
For me, it's Shazam. Funny enough, regular Shazam 1. That's up there for me. Same reasons you said. I love the aspects of family. I thought it was hilarious. Zachary Levi in this one was fun. I just think you're right. By the time we get to Shazam 2, it's kind of just like eh. And with a movie like Shazam, it's difficult because you gotta film these like immediately. Cause these kids start aging and it's kind of just like
Now they all grown men.
you might as well just have him play himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just the fact that in Shazam 2, there was such a clear difference in personalities between Billy and Shazam. It didn't make any sense because there's also like his personality shifts every time he turned into Shazam. So, but in Shazam 1, perfect balance. I like the whole story of family. I think it's a great Christmas movie. Yeah, it was just an all-around good time. It's a family movie. I'd watch that with my family.
Man, I thought Black Adam was a banger, bro. I
hard.
don't
Yeah.
care, bro. And listen, people have a problem with The Rock's ego. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Black Adam. He's pure ego.
Oh, that's a good
Pure
way.
ego.
Oh,
There's
shit.
nobody else I would see doing Black Adam
better.
other than The Rock. Like, he's pure ego. That's what you should want. Like, I had no issues
That's
with
crazy. That's meta, actually. It's like, it's to that point, Black Adam feels like you are not worthy to be in my presence type shit. And it's like The Rock gives off that energy in a different way, though.
In a different way, but at the same time, yeah, definitely.
That's a good, okay. You saying that makes me appreciate it a little bit more. All right, now we into our top 5s. I think this one we definitely got the same one. For number 5, 3, 2, 1, Wonder Woman. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. So look, that's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was Wonder Woman.
That's Wonder Woman. I commend DC too because they did this before the whole woman empowerment. I am strong. Hear me roar. I would say this is the start of it. Why you laugh?
Hear me roar.
Yeah, you're gonna hear me roar. Like, I would honestly say, I always say this actually, they only did Black Widow and Captain Marvel and all of that because of Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't have got that if it wasn't for Wonder Woman. But the thing about Wonder Woman is that they made her badass. She didn't have to be like super masculine for us to get that she's a strong woman. She still kept her emotions. Actually, her emotions was her superpower. She still was able to fall in love even though she was she just didn't understand men. And so therefore, because of her ignorance, it wasn't like a distaste for men. It was more like I don't know what's going on here. So it's like, maybe I could try to help out. She's oblivious. You know what I mean? So I genuinely liked Wonder Woman for that. It almost felt like OG Dragon Ball, where it's like Goku doesn't know what's going on, so he just does shit. And that is what Wonder Woman does. It's like she's like Goku. She's just going around. It's like, oh. But then there's like the battlefield scene where it's like she's doing all that and
tweaking.
That's just hard.
Just tweaking.
Like, okay, we could say what we want about Gal Gadot, but that stuff, like people didn't really complain about it until later on. And I'll be completely honest. It isn't until like 84 where they try to push her to like it's so weird because I don't remember her having to force herself to act. The whole time it's her just being oblivious, but like showing that she's strong. Wonder Woman was dope. Had Snyder influences.
Gal Gadot can't act though. I think we can all agree on that.
Sure, but nobody was complaining about that in the first one. You know what I'm saying?
But she's still terrible.
I mean, but it gives me excitement because as long as they don't go the I hate men and all of this route for the next Wonder Woman, I think our next Wonder Woman is going to be even better than, like, it's only upwards from here. Like, the issue with Wonder Woman 84, think about how big of a shift that is to be top 5 from number 15 on my list. That was not Wonder Woman in 84, bro. Like, it was like a little bit too much emotion where it's like, all right, shorty, like, bro, been gone. You feel me? You got to go through all this stuff. You have a Batman right there. Like, I don't know. It's so weird.
Not only that, but she's been alive for thousands of years. And for some reason, them 4 days she's with Steve Trevor made her remember that shit for the next 4 years.
Forever. Yeah, I don't know,
that shit's
bro.
crazy.
I guess First Love And I don't know. I guess you could go that route.
Bro didn't even beat. Like, be for real.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, bro. You don't remember that one scene where they was in that room? First off, if you get Wonder... Come on,
maybe
bro.
I don't remember the movie.
Nah. I specifically remember that. Because also, for her to be hung up on you for that long, you had to do a great job. Think about that.
No, you're just the first man she ever encountered.
Nah,
Like,
you had to do a great job, bro.
That nigga-
For you to be Wonder Woman?
That nigga lift her groceries for her, and she was like, "Oh, hold on."
Come on, bro. Wonder Woman?
Hold on.
I'm picking Wonder Woman. Anyways, number 4. We might agree on this one, too. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Wait. This might get a little tricky.
Nah, I know exactly what you got coming up. I think we agree on this one, too. I think our top 5s are probably the same. You ready?
Hold on. I need to think of my 5 and 4 real quick.
All right.
Let me think this through real quick.
No, we already said Wonder Woman is number 5.
Okay, let me think of my 4 and 3 real quick.
Either way, I already know what it is, and I think we agree.
Okay, yeah, come on, fuck it.
All right, cool. 3, 2, 1. The Suicide Squad.
Zack's Justice League.
Not the Suicide Squad? Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Mm-hmm.
At number 4?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't expect that, bro. Above Batman v... Oh, you ain't say Batman v Superman yet. 4?
Mm-hmm.
So, The Suicide Squad is higher on your list?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I gotta give it to The Suicide Squad. I think that was a straight up comic book movie. I think James Gunn did a phenomenal job. And it's one of those reasons why I am excited to see what he does going forward. The thing about this movie that I know James Gunn is starting to develop is like emotion. I don't remember as much emotion being in The Suicide Squad, but I do remember it being a great time.
Oh no, there was tons of emotion.
Yeah?
Especially between damn, what's bro's name?
Flag?
No, not Flag.
Rat Girl with
I mean, yeah, Rat Girl and her father, but you also had Idris and his daughter.
Okay.
You had their whole dynamic. What was Idris' name?
Flags? No, that was
That's Black Adam.
See, I can't even remember. Flag Smasher?
That's Black Adam. No. That's Captain America.
It was between Peacemaker and Rick Flag. That's who I'm thinking about. Rick Flag. I think his name is Rick Flag. That's why I said Flag Smasher.
Yeah, Rick Flag.
Okay. Yeah. I do like how he subverted our expectations where it's like, nah, he's dead. Which is fucked up.
Word.
That was fucked. Damn. Number 4 though?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think that's like perfect casting. I don't see them topping that unless they give us, you're not gonna agree, Samira Weaving is like next in line. I think she could play Harley Quinn really well. Because usually the characters she plays anyway are already fucking deranged. Like all of the characters Samira Weaving already played are deranged.
Her.
Yeah, it took them a minute to people I was talking about.
I loved Zack Snyder's job.
But
I don't think I have a real reason. I just enjoyed the other movies more.
Okay.
There's no crazy buts from it. No cons. I love the fucking
It's just a good movie. Yeah, it's just straight up good. All right, so number 3. 3, 2, 1.
BVS.
Batman v Superman.
Extended
Ultimate.
cut.
Yeah. Right here. There's no point in, I didn't even think we needed to mention theatrical. I just feel like that doesn't exist.
I don't even think you can even watch that.
Because it's like, I remember my reaction in the theater. I wasn't happy with the theatrical cut. I wasn't mad at it, but I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't until later on you watch it and it's the Ultimate Edition and it's only 30 minutes added, but it adds so much context.
Especially to Superman's character. It does so much for Superman.
And I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like Batman had a little bit more of a better motivation. My only cons with this movie, and I can't really complain because even in the comics it's like that, and even in the once they animated it, it was like that. I just wanted to see a little bit more of a fluid Batman. But it's also like suspend your, because it's like he's wearing a heavy ass suit. So there's only so much you could do.
What do you mean fluid?
I wanted to see him like on like the way Feyora was moving. Like if he had the mech suit on, obviously he's still human. But like I wanted to see a little bit more of that. But it's okay because I love how Batman was just home aloneing him the whole time. The whole entire time. BVS is up there for me as top 3. I think because of how significant it was, I still wish they just gave us a Man of Steel 2 and then leaned into BVS 2. I said BVS 2. I don't know. I think this has to come from like just good times. Like I just remember the hype around it. I remember the posters. I remember this was the first time we were about to see the Justice League on screen. Wonder Woman's arrival was really dope. if we're gonna be honest, it did feel a little shoehorned. Even in the Ultimate Edition, but it was like, what were they really gonna do? All three, like just Batman and Superman versus Doomsday. What were they gonna do?
They said, what were they gonna
Like,
do?
think about that. Like, it's Batman, Superman, and Superman's fighting Kryptonian on steroids. It's General Zod on steroids, and you already almost lost that. You're gonna need somebody else to step in. So I was cool with Wonder Woman coming in, even though it did feel a little shoehorned. But that was like the beginning for me. Like when the theatrical cut came out, that was the beginning of the end. And simply because I felt like Warner Brothers was trying to rush things, I really would have rather seen the Superman 2. I know it makes it seem like it wasn't supposed to be top 3, but this is top 3. I just hold it so dear to my heart. I got the Blu-ray somewhere in here. Number 2. 3, 2, 1. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Man of Steel.
At number 2? Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to explain.
Yeah, Man of Steel was literally the start of our DCEU.
Mm-hmm.
The start of Snyder starting this fucked up universe.
Yeah, he didn't know though. He didn't know it was gonna turn out. We didn't know it was gonna turn out like this.
Nobody
Fucked
knew.
Up.
It was our first time seeing an actual live action Superman. Hold on. An actual live action Superman.
Real Superman.
Like him actually Supermaning.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Some bullshit.
yeah.
Some bullshit. Holding planes.
I was gonna start saying things. I'm like, nah, let me
not just holding stuff. Think about that. Holding stuff and pushing stuff. Not fighting, just flying around and holding shit. So yeah, that was Superman.
2013.
Look, I gotta put Zack Snyder's Justice League up there because I think that was comic books. Like that was a comic book. I love the artistic input. Like it just felt visually different, and I think it's a masterclass in same movie, different director. Like it just shows you the difference in what filmmaking can be in shooting and post-production. How you could be in a boardroom, see the Flash, go back in time, and be like, nah, we gotta cut that, is insane to me. And then swap that out for him running around with a car. Swap that out. So it's stuff like that. I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is up there for me, man. I thought it did really well at showing why Superman is who he is. I like those things where Batman realizes why we need a Kryptonian. Batman realizes why he needs to open up a little bit instead of just be Batman. The dynamic of the Justice League was just there. Like, this was the mythological version of the Justice League that we were supposed to get. And
the characters actually felt useful as opposed to Justice League, where, like you said, bro was just running around with the car.
Mm-hmm. But
basically
they felt
watching
godly.
Superman doing everything. Like,
but they felt godly, though. Like, that's the thing about Zack Snyder's Justice League characters. Like, they felt like their Greek counterparts. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, just that shot where it's like, it just slowly pushes in and the Flash goes with Cyborg. And it's like, that's just the Justice. I don't know how to put it. Like, man, it's beautiful. It's art. Like, just, a lot of people don't like the slow-mo. You hear that? Every time Wonder Woman's doing something, it's there. Like, it's just like, okay. Maybe he did do a little bit too much slow-mo. But he's a fucking artist. Let him do what he got to do, man.
No such thing.
No such thing as too much slow-mo. All right, and then, damn, that's crazy that your number one is that. Number 1, 3, 2, 1, Man of Steel.
The Suicide Squad.
And I know why. I respect it. I respect it, bro.
I think overall, it was just a better, well put together movie.
Okay.
Like overall, everything. With the past movies, you have your issues like, oh, maybe Act 1 dragged on for too long. Maybe Act 3 didn't go the way you wanted to. I feel like the entirety of the movie, even to the end, I'm still like, oh shit, that shit caught me off guard.
Like he doesn't, like, he takes your advantage. He has your attention and he makes sure that he keeps it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm not mad at your number one. I am a little bit surprised. For me, I got to do Man of Steel, though. I remember that impact that Man of Steel had on us, especially me, just even as a filmmaker. I ran my Man of Steel Blu-ray into the fucking ground.
Yo,
that shit scratched up. I remember there was a period where almost every day after school, for whatever reason, I'm watching Man of Steel. But it's not even just Man of Steel. I'm watching the behind the scenes to Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. And I think that is still some of the best behind the scenes that you could ever find on a Blu-ray ever. You get your director's commentaries and stuff, but Zack Snyder sits there at the corner of the screen and he's showing you concept art and he's pausing shit. And he's like, it's like a college course on just producing, directing, editing. It's just informed me so much, and I've learned so much from Man of Steel to the point where we made Battle for the Box. There's concepts from when I was younger watching the Man of Steel Blu-ray. I had to revisit and go, oh shit, Zack Snyder did that. That's where I got that idea from, or whatever. So, and then just looking at, like, there is no Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, without Man of Steel. There is no a lot of these superhero movies that kind of branch out without Zack Snyder. Because before that, we got our fight scenes, but like everyone tried to keep it grounded. For whatever reason, this was the first time we saw like an anime fight. Like on screen, Fayora with the speed, Clark with the learning the heat vision, like the philosophical aspect to it. I want to say outside of X-Men, this is one of the first times we had to like wrestle with like ideas in a superhero movie. Well, Nolan's Batman, but it builds on that. And Nolan as the producer, you could tell where he was kind of just, there was no need for a director's cut of Man of Steel. Because Nolan understood Zack Snyder enough to be like, yo, we're going to keep this in. We're going to take this out. Yo, the story would flow like this. And so you don't have any issues. You know what I'm saying? So for that reason, from the producing, the editing, the direction, the story, the meeting Henry Cavill, just the influence that it had on modern day superhero movies, it has to be number one, bro.
Bro, the fight scenes in that movie was so well done.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, it had niggas thinking we could get a live action Dragon Ball movie.
Bro, like an actual, I'm trying to think what other movies have done that in live action before Man of Steel. We watch a lot of action movies. I remember I had a headache when I went into the movie. And I saw the Fayora scene, headache went away, gone. I remember watching it with my older cousin. And I'm in that theater like, jaw dropped. Honestly, if it wasn't for that scene, I remember, I could get even deeper. I remember having a good time watching it. But, it was just like the origins and shit. That's when shit kicked up. That whole Smallville scene, that's when things went, okay, these Kryptonians not here to fuck around. Like, they grabbing the mom, Superman, all of that. Come on, man. So, yeah, Man of Steel got to be number one.
You know what's crazy? That weekend you came into school after you saw Man of Steel was the same weekend as the MTV Movie Awards. And I remember watching the commercial.
You remember the commercial? Bro!
Yo, cause listen.
Yo, we might have texted each other like, yo, this shit crazy.
But listen, when that commercial came out, I had no idea we was getting a Superman movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I watched that commercial, and then the next day we went into school, and I'm like, yo, I seen this commercial.
Yeah.
And you was like, yo, it was in Man of Steel. I'm
a
Superman movie. Like,
bro, but it was like, the fact that I was actually legit scared, though, watching the commercial. Because I'm like, what's going on? And then I hear General Zod. I'm like, oh, okay, I know who. I'm still nervous, but I'm like, General Zod. Okay, this is a joke.
Nigga, I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich, and I look at my TV, bro, on the screen like, we come for him. I'm like, what do you mean?
I think that was top tier marketing, bro.
Yo, facts.
No need for a trailer. No need for any of that nonsense. Glitch the screen out. Make it seem like somebody took over your program. Yeah, man. Man of Steel was different, bro. I'm really trying to think about. Bro, it influenced every single one of the films that we named before it. Mm-hmm. Every single one, including the Suicide Squad. I respect it as the number one, especially from the filmmaking aspect. You're right, it is cohesive, but bro, if we're gonna talk about number one, we gotta talk about influences. We gotta talk about all of it. So,
I mean, the Suicide Squad influence was so good, they made that nigga leader of DC.
Well, that's true. But he couldn't have been the leader of DC without Zack Snyder. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, Man of Steel is the blueprint. Zack Snyder is the blueprint. Bro, Eternals pulled from Man of Steel.
Facts.
Eternals. What else? Movies are just different after 2013. And that was because of Man of Steel. Listen, it's been a rough 10 years, especially as a DC fan, bro. Some highs, some lows, It's like, what's that song? How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever has gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Look, guys, what did you guys think about the DCEU? I know it's been a rough 10 years. We'd love to hear what your list was like. If you want to see our Aquaman review, you could click right here. We got a whole bunch of other reviews there too, and we'll see you in the next encounter.
Peace.